Quick message right at the top. I just wanted to pass along some information that a longtime listener of the show, an important member of the LAFC community, Darren Keepers, unfortunately went through a major medical emergency, and he needs our help. You've probably met Darren if you've come to any of our meetups. Again, this isn't the host of the show, Darren. This is a different Darren. You've probably met his service dog. You probably met his incredible wife, Kim. They're going to need a lot of money for what is going to be a very difficult new lifestyle for them. He can no longer eat or drink normally. If you can give even the smallest donation, it would mean a lot to us personally here at the podcast. We've all donated. I can't express enough how good of people Darren and Kim are, and how much it would mean genuinely to me if you could toss them a few dollars, even just $2 if that's all you can afford. But it's going to be a rough road for them. The kindest, sweetest, most open-hearted people. They've called into the show multiple times. They've been a member of this community from the very beginning. I just want to say, if they're listening, we're thinking about you, and the best way for any of you to help, if you can, is just to donate to the link in the bio of wherever you're seeing or listening to this. That's it. We have a show that we recorded before we knew this stuff, so we don't talk about it during it. But I wanted to put this right at the top. That said, please enjoy the show. Darren and Kim, we love you. Bye. Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug and the only LAFC podcast that always wanted Steve Cherundolo fired. I'm Travis Howick.
I'm Vince LaRosa.
And I'm Darren Miller. Welcome to the 2025 Happy Foot, Sad Foot LAFC season review. We have a real thick sode for you to wrap up the emotionally abusive relationship that was this season. There is no match coming up. There is no post-game show. There is no cup. But there is closure.
Later in the show, we'll give out some Happy Foot, Sad Foot awards for the year, answer some mailbag questions, and of course, we'll discuss the season and off-season's most important storyline. But first and last, it's time for listener-mandated banter. We made it, guys. Everyone's favorite part of the year, the final listener-mandated banter.
Is it? I mean, if we do like the little episodes, do we have to?
What a great transition, Vince. You know, we will be having Patreon-specific key bump episodes.
And you know I didn't do that on purpose because I don't read the script.
To keep you a little bit high throughout the off-season, keep you fixed. It'll be Patreon only. We did them last year. I think this year we're going to try to do some intro to LAFC episodes as well to get people hooked on it, but that might not be behind the paywall. We'll figure that out. But one thing I just want to remind everyone, people at the end of this week, I think we're raising the prices for the Patreon. So if you ever wanted to become, they raised prices on us last year and we just never raised the prices.
This has been well documented.
Mr. Patreon.
Locking, Mr. Patreon, please don't make us. But we're locking in. If you get this price now, this week, the $5, whatever, that's locked in forever. We're not going to raise it. But if you wait after this week, if you ever think you might get it, it will be more expensive. And who knows? We might raise it by $1 million. Oh, patreon.com/happy.
Could we?
Imagine if we got just one person to sign up.
If one of you people are listening could give us $1 million. What do you have to do for $1 million?
You tell us. What would you do for $1 million, Travis?
What do you do for $1 million?
This is good banter.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think.
What would you do for $1 million?
What's a situation in which someone gives you $1 million? What do you have to do something like fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Does that ever happen though? Like that's the hypothetical, but like what people give $1 million to is like an investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Woody Harrelson gave Demi Moore to Robert Redford in that movie. Oh, I'm very old. That's a very old movie.
Cannot possibly hold up.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Indecent Proposal?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, very old movie.
Something else?
Yeah, no, that is. I'm pretty sure that's the movie. Yeah.
I'm 24, so I don't know.
Sure,
I only know 6'7".
What?
I'm 24. I only know 6'7".
I only know 6'7".
The only movie I know is John Pork.
It's funny for someone to come. John Pork.
What? It's funny for someone to. What'd you say?
It's funny if someone.
We're back, baby, for one more episode.
We're so back. Somebody watching this is looking at like 3 minutes in, and they're like, "This for 2 hours."
You should have saw what happened before we recorded.
Oh my god, I'm exhausted and I'm exhausting.
I do think so. I think like should we talk about? We're probably not going to talk about it later in the show. What we thought about the final 2 weeks of the offseason, or the season, which blew by after our month-long break before our game in Vancouver.
Yeah, that was wild.
Right.
I thought bad, I guess. Here's my analysis. No.
It was a good game. I thought the final was good, and it made me.
Oh, you mean after LAFC?
Yeah. Like how we felt about the rest of the playoffs and Messi finally,
which we watched in protest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Under duress.
Vince, what did you think?
It was a good game. It was like a fitting final. It's fun to see two top stars go head to head. You'd hope that like from now into eternity.
Are you auditioning for Apple TV Plus? What are you? It's good to see two top stars.
Well, no, I mean, I'm old enough to remember games like Colorado versus Dallas in an MLS Cup final.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, so
I laughed so much today at Messi winning the Landon Donovan Award. It's like, wow, what an honor!
So funny.
That's
standing on the shoulders of superhero Landon Donovan.
I really wanted Vancouver to win just so we could say we only lost to the champion because we hit the post 3 times, right? Like it would have felt good if we could say we would have won MLS Cup. And Vancouver played, I thought, a better game for a lot of that game.
And we would have lost to both.
They were the better team.
The winner of the Club World Cup and the winner of MLS Cup. Like we would have been the ultimate, like, so we were just right behind them. Like,
we were in 3rd place in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. We're going to take a break we're probably going to take a break until after the holidays, and then we'll do some key bumps.
Yeah, and then we'll do more episodes because this is great. And this is a chance. I will say this is a good thing to get out early. Put in the comments or just like find out. We could not possibly be more accessible. Tell us what you might be interested in for a key bump episode in the off season. This is our chance to get a little bit more in depth, do something like a little stuff that's a little more interesting and not based on like a game that's coming up or just happened. We can do things that are dumber or more educational, or we can do a Lamar Hunt crazy wall.
But like topic specific, one topic. We'll just go
something
into
like real in depth that you're like, let's do. I think last time we did it was like a 20-minute episode, but about one thing.
Yeah. Like that. The list was introduced as an episode where we'd be like,
"That's
what's on our list of things we hate?" And we drafted 8 things onto the list.
Yeah, this is our chance to build on the lore, guys.
The post got added to the list, right?
If it isn't,
I don't know. See, the karma worked already,
but it didn't,
where Vancouver's 3 post situation cost them.
But it hurt us. Sure. It hurt us both times, though, right? Because I think it would have been beneficial for us for Vancouver to win, because we would have felt good about the fact that we almost.
So that's the 3 posts being cruel twice in a row.
The post giveth, the post taketh away.
No, the post taketh, the post taketh, the post taketh.
Live by the post, die by the post. Okay. I think we're good, right? This is going to be a long one. Let's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut most of that. Please. Maybe we don't even do a banter this time.
Hell yeah, we'll just do the housekeeping. I don't know. Go to the last Von Emerian out of the year.
It's going to be the same one. Let's do it. We can start the show, but first we have a message from our sponsors, Travis.
Flex Power Tools?
No. Guess again.
Oh, I wonder if it's Von Emerian at Emerian Law.
I think it is Emerian Law.
Oh, that's interesting, because I have a question for you, Darren. Ever notice how some law firms advertise like they're fielding a World Cup squad, but when it's game time, all you get are the bench warmers?
I do notice that quite frequently on lots of billboards all over town.
Vince, I have a question for you. No, this isn't a question. At Emerian Law, they're not all about... Darren had set me up perfectly. And this is going great. Use this one. No, we're using this one at Emerian Law.
I was just flabbergasted by the way you said all. You really leaned into that. Like, all you get?
Adam, Miri, and Law, they're not about bright billboards or cheesy jingles like Darren
Not
said
like us.
45 minutes earlier. They're
They're
focused on
legit.
what really matters. Winning your case and getting you the compensation you deserve, because with a Miri and Law, you get more firepower than a Bawanga Blast. And with Son joining LAFC, you know what it feels like to have a true game changer on your side. And that kind of partnership, Denny and Son bring as instant best friends forever here on LAFC. That's the same chemistry you will have with the good folks at Amirian Law. So if you want a law firm that plays like a team that delivers with a star striker, call Amirian Law at 1-866-ARE-WE-BACK or 1-866-ARE-WE-BAD. One number for when you dolo in, one number from when you dolo out. So when we draw or lose or win, but you didn't like it enough, you call 1-866-ARE-WE-BAD. When we win by 4 or more goals, but you're still mad about a few things, but it feels good, call 1-866-ARE-WE-BACK for Vaughn Amirian at Amirian Law. We love Vaughn Amirian. He is our favorite listener of this podcast.
We play favorites. We'll just come out and say it.
Oh, absolutely.
He's our favorite.
The only way Vaughn wouldn't be our favorite is if you offer us more money than Vaughn Amirian.
All right. Well, as the more casually obsessed LAFC fan on the show, I love LAFC and I'll never miss a match, but I don't have time to stay on top of all the advanced stats, roster moves, rumors, tactics, and off-the-field drama that I can't get from just watching the matches when all I see watching a match is ball get kicked, ball go off post, ball get kicked, ball go off post, ball get kicked, ball go off post, Frenchman sad. Luckily, my friends Travis, the human LAFC crazy wall, and Vince, the LAFC patron saint of tactics, are here to catch me up on the most important storylines that live beneath every surface of the season, even when that surface is turf, a nearby mini golf course passed on, so we can all enjoy them so much more in a segment we call Storylines.
Huh? No, just the regular one.
Nah, just
Sorry.
ranks.
I just realized this jersey is no longer current.
Yep.
This is
out of
Ooh,
circulation,
it's gonna be
baby.
a New Jersey.
a New Jersey. And end of Tapestry Studios. I'm moving.
Oh
So
my gosh.
Wow.
maybe we can work the tapestry in, but
Wow, too much
I'm-
change,
I'm
man.
moving.
When's the move?
I think in 2 weeks. It's
Speaking of
happening
New
fast.
Jersey, tell them.
I'm moving
Tell them
to
the news.
Trenton. I'm moving to Trenton. All right, Darren. I'm not moving to New Jersey. Darren, Vince, Dince, I come to you on this, the least important week in LAFC history, with some storylines for the
See what you did there?
2025 season. And the first one is this. Was the 2025 LAFC season a failure? In our 8th season in Major League Soccer, LAFC ended the season 3rd in the West with 60 points and went out in dramatic fashion in penalties in the Western Conference semifinals against a team that was just a few posts away from beating Messi at home. 60 points this season is the 4th best point total in LAFC history. So right in the middle of the pack, behind 2019 with 72 points, 2022 with 67 points, and 2024 with 64. We qualified for the Club World Cup and got to play a competitive game against Chelsea where we weren't played off the field. We beat Club America in a playoff game, and the team won literally $10 million after we did. Nathan Ordaz outperformed Messi at BMO. Sombrero Kid was canceled and then quietly reintegrated into polite society. We signed Son Heung-min, potentially the most talented player to ever play for LAFC, and he immediately gave us all hope. But at the end of the day, for the first time in the Steve Cherundolo era, we failed to win a single trophy during the season despite multiple competitions. No MLS Cup, no Supporter Shield, no Leagues Cup, no Champions Cup, no Club World Cup, no nothing. Although I do think we have the U.S. Open Cup technically because we were never beaten for it. So I think that's ours until we lose it.
Yep.
Darren, Vince, I ask you this question after every season because we've yet to win a championship since we've done this podcast. Do you think this season was a failure? And if so, how do you define success for a season? Do you have to win MLS Cup for the season to be a success? I'll give it to either of you.
That's a hard.
I think I think there's positive takeaways. I think we've set ourselves up for next season in a way that exceeded my hopes and expectations. So I think on that front, which isn't this season, I would say I could not be happier with where we stand, which is very strange because I would say otherwise this season is a failure. I think in order for this to feel like arguable and subjective and depending on how you define things, to me, you got to win at least one piece of hardware. And then it can be like, well, we only won this piece of hardware. What does it mean then? But it's like, it's the thing everyone's trying to do, and we just didn't do it. And I guess by my definition, that means that it's a failure for most teams, and that's fine. But if you grade success and failure on a curve, then you need like a certain amount of teams to be able to say this was a successful season. I don't know what the goals were, but I think it was pretty clear the goals were to win some hardware.
Well, and at the beginning of the year, everyone was saying LAFC is a contender, right? Like a team that was like at the bottom of everyone's expectations, making the playoffs, they might say that's a success. But people expect LAFC to win. Vince, what do you think?
I mean, they still were a contender, though, right? So, I'm not saying like the ultimate goal is to be successful at prove everybody right by being like, well, we were at least a contender. Darren's kind of onto something here. I feel like the way you feel about next season kind of speaks to what the season ended. And the caveat is, leave it to me to be pedantic. It's like so kind of lame to just have it binary, like success failure, because it's sports and we do this every year. Like, we're gonna be back. And so that's why I say, like, how do you feel about next season? I think a lot of people feel really encouraged about next season. Like, you could have a season in which you go to a final, you win the final, and then and then you're like, yeah, that was cool, but like, I don't know about next year. And you just coast off that victory, right? But realistically, you know that you're in for a year of pain coming out of that. I don't feel like LAFC fans feel that way. That being said, you're right. No trophies. You can't be excited about it. You can't celebrate this season in any way. But to call it a failure, knowing that we're going to turn around and we're going to get to have Son and Bouanga, a lot of guys are locked up for the season. I don't want to go too deep in this because I'm sure we're going to talk more about this. But like, I want this next season start now. Whereas I think even in other seasons for LAFC, we're like, the season should not start today. We have so much work to do. I don't feel that way.
I also feel like, weirdly, even though we won US Open Cup last year, Son's arrival has drastically changed the vibe around the team entirely. And I feel better at the end of this year. We went out in the same part of MLS Cup playoffs this year as last year. I feel better about this year, despite us having fewer points, being ranked lower, and not winning hardware. Winning US Open Cup probably makes last season a success if we're going by Darren's metrics. But like, I felt weird at the end. I was like, yeah, that's right. We should go out here. I thought we could win MLS Cup. And even watching Vancouver play Miami, I was like, we could have won MLS
that game.
Cup, right?
We could have beaten either of those teams the way they played.
Sure.
And like, it was ours to lose. And now a full season with a roster built around these two stars. We have a new coach who knows what he's going to bring to it. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. It's up to me what we talk about, so we will be talking about it. It's just I feel better despite it being the same result and last year us getting trophies. But I would also agree that it probably is a failure by all metrics, right? We had the fourth best season in team history in an 8-year. We've been around for 8 years. That's like the definition of the middle. Even if we've been good for most of those years, it's been a mid-season statistically for us.
I think for the project of the club long term overall, the steps we took in the positive direction this season were great and promising, and I agree with both of you. I think there's a world where we could have won MLS Cup and still felt worse about next season than we do right now. So like, to the extent that we're like building a club long term and being part of it as fans, the steps that were taken during this season were a success. But that's not about this season, and this season was a failure. I'm just reiterating what I said and what you guys said.
John Thorrington. I think John Thorrington did pretty good.
John Thorrington had the only
Although
person...
he had some happy feet and sad feet too.
Yeah, the only person who had more of a roller coaster season than we did was him.
Yeah.
That brings us to our second storyline of the season. And it's something we've never talked about before on this show. So get your asses ready. And it's this. What will Steve Cherundolo's legacy at LAFC be? Ding dong, the witch is dead. No, not Dolo. The conversation around Dolo. This is the very last time we will ever have to participate in Steve Cherundolo discourse. Never going to do it again. I promise you that. Another turning point a fork stuck in the road. Dolo, of course, the second bald coach in LAFC history, soft-spoken and tactically cautious, but if you care about trophies, he's easily our most successful. He was LAFC's all-time winningest coach with 104 wins, 49 losses, and 39 draws. In his 4 seasons as LAFC's head coach, Dolo won more regular season and more playoff games than any other club. LAFC was the most winning team in those 4 years in both the playoffs and the regular season. He also won us the double in his first season, the Supporter Shield at MLS Cup in 2022, the Western Conference title in 2023, losing in the finals, the US Open Cup in 2024. As I said, this is the only year Dolo did not win hardware as head coach of LAFC. 3 out of the 4 years, he did. That said, Dolo was constantly derided by a lot of the fan base who saw him as too defensive-minded, too happy to cede possession, not flexible enough, and too level-headed after losses. He also got the reputation of a coach that chokes in big games. And while we won all those trophies, we had chances to win a lot more under Steve Cherundolo. And I would say about 50% of the time, we did not win the trophy. Vince, you've been paid by LAFC to be nice to Steve Cherundolo for the last 3 years we've done this podcast. And now that the paycheck is gone, I want to know, do you think, and I think it's beneficial if you're mean to Steve Cherundolo right here, and I just want to say it. How do you rate his time here? What do you think he could have done differently to win over fans? What will his legacy be for LAFC?
Wait, why is it beneficial for him to be mean to Steve Cherundolo right now?
I think it would be beneficial because those fans who turned off the show because we were too positive about it might go, we could gaslight them into thinking we always hated him.
Got it. Okay, great.
I can't do it. I mean, I've already said so much, and the one thing that I've pointed out that people really don't like is like, I guess Steve could have bought more into the theatrics and like placated people more with his post-game press conferences and things like that. That's fine. If that's what you need, that's fine. But just remember that's about you, not about Steve. And I know that's going to make a lot of people happy. I don't know. I've been thinking about this. I don't know if you guys have been, because I've been like dreading this moment, this exact moment when we had to talk about this since we lost that game, knowing that we were going to do this. And this was the only thing that I could come up with that was actually original to say that I have not seen a lot of people talk about. And I know that this is a stretch, but what if you looked at Steve Cherundolo's career with LAFC in reverse? Trophies were all there, but instead his first season was 0 trophies. Second season, an Open Cup. Third season, a loss in MLS Cup, but reaching a CONCACAF Champions final, losing there as well. And then your fourth season is a Supporter Shield MLS Cup double. I think if we were having that conversation in the way we're doing it now, you would be like, he's the greatest LAFC coach of all time. I love him. I'm going to miss him. Good luck in Germany. I don't know. Take from that what you will. I know that that's changing exactly how things happen, but on the grand scheme of things, especially when Travis is saying like the winningest coach in MLS during his time, like you can only play the teams that you play. And we happen to play in MLS. We're not Barcelona. We're not Manchester United. We are not Arsenal and or Man City. Any team you want to choose. Like he's been one of, if not the best. And so if you could change it around, or if you could base it solely on the trophies that he had, you would have to say he is. And look, there's only 2 managers, but like that's what you would hope for. And to the people that are like, well, he could have done more. Sure, but he's now set the bar very, very high. And if a coach comes in and does more, I think he will be considered the greatest MLS coach of all time. So right there, I'm putting Steve in like pretty lofty area. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying he's in the conversation. And the coach that best Steve in a 4-year period, like best what Steve has done with LAFC, will have to be considered, if not the best MLS coach of all time, like top 2, easily.
In a 4-year span. I think what you just said, like listing off it in reverse order, is a really interesting way to look at it. I think devil's advocate is just like, yeah, but if someone's decreasing over time, you go, hey, this isn't working out anymore. We should try something new. But I agree with you that like in a void, all of that stuff, every team in the league would kill for, right? That's better. We just said he has more wins than any other coach in the 4 years he was here in both the regular season and the playoffs. Was he perfect? No. Did he maybe fit the fan base of Los Angeles sports? Maybe not. But he was a really good coach while we had him. Darren, I think it's only proper that you pay your respects. And we as a podcast give our listeners and the 3 of us the chance to grieve something that I know we will all be missing, and that is Dolo Ball discourse. So I would love if you could right now lead us in a eulogy for the loss of discourse around Dolo Ball. Dolo Ball discourse eulogy. Darren, go ahead.
The discourse. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I think this is fitting, right?
Yes.
I like that I
Do one
vamped long
last
enough that
time.
you found a sound.
Oh, perfect. The plane flies right over my head as we do that.
I didn't
That is
hear
the
him.
discourse flying
it's a
away.
salute.
Our salute from Burbank Airport. You know, we've talked a lot of times about whether or not Steve Cherundolo is too defensive-minded. Maybe he lacked creativity when they're attacking. Maybe he let the players do what they wanted too much. Maybe he didn't let the players do what they wanted enough. Maybe he wasn't fun enough. Maybe he wasn't bald enough. Maybe he didn't have enough hair. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's time to say goodbye to any and all of these points of view. They're all wrong now. The counterpoints to all of these points are also all wrong. Today, no matter what we've been all of this time, we are all Dolo out. And Dolo out is out. As we look back, this final moment at the discourse, I hope we can look ahead and appreciate what that discourse has given us, because there will be a new discourse upon us soon, and it can only be as painful or more painful than that was. So we need to welcome with open arms the Mark Dos Santos discourse and think about what that could bring us and how much pain we can cause each other as we honor the Steve Cherundolo discourse. Thank you all so much for being here and for celebrating the stain on our season. One of many stains, I might say.
Hashtag Dolo out.
Man,
Dolo out.
I'm going to miss that discourse.
Dolo in, out.
You know what I'm going to miss most of all? The engagement farming off of it. The getting the likes.
Yes.
The accounts that would do anything for the retweets. I'm going to miss that more than anything. What are they going to talk about now?
They knew that they could, but do they know what's coming now? Like what are they going to be able to draft off of? How are they going to? I don't know. I don't know, but I do worry what comes next.
And that brings us, that was beautiful, Darren, thank you. That brings us to our final storyline of the 2025 season, and it's
really
this.
crescendoing with the music.
What can John Thorrington and Mark Dos Santos, the first LAFC head coach with hair, do to bring back our trophy-winning ways? Vince, I'm just going to hand it off to you. What do you think fans need to know about Mark Dos Santos? How worried should they be about his failure as a head coach of Vancouver? And what does an internal hire mean for LAFC? As the stupidest people on the internet say, is an internal hire a small club mentality? How are you feeling about the hire? Give our listeners, tell them what they should be feeling.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this, and now people are going to roast me for saying this because they're going to like, I can't believe you're going to fucking compare Mark Dos Santos to this. But Frank Rijkaard was a coach of Barcelona, and they hadn't won in a long time. And he actually took them to their first Champions League title in a very long time. But he had to move on. And when he moved on, they hired their B coach, which basically coaches the youth team. That B coach was Pep Guardiola. That's a hire from within. That's a small club mindset. How dare you ever do that? And I'm going to get roasted for even making that comparison. But like, this is
You're
what
not.
we're dealing with.
Hold on.
Pep Dos Santos.
Hold on. Before you minimize that, you're not comparing the two coaches at all. You're comparing the situation, which is literally exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small club mentality.
Yeah, look, ultimately for people, I understand. Like, you like nice things. Like when Son comes in, you're excited because it's Son, right? And then he does deliver, and that's what's great. Same with you. You would love a coach that you already know who he is, but ultimately, I just think that there's so many, especially these days, you look around the world and there's so many big name coaches that are kind of like slowly losing it and losing grasp of what soccer is in the modern era. And so I really want to coach with ideas more than a coach with a name. Like, I know Jose Mourinho was a name that was thrown around for forever. Cool. He's very interesting. Would have been great in press conferences. I guess the things that people really liked more than actual coaching, but like his ideas have come and gone. Like the sport has kind of passed him by. And so if Marc Dos Santos comes in and he has ideas and he has unique ideas,
the Pep Guardiola of MLS.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he might even just shave his head bald to just really lean into it. You never know.
The finals was all bald coaches.
And he's, like I said, he's our first haired head coach.
It is funny that that's the progression, because I was also trying to think, like, how can I explain kind of what LAFC's progression has been? And it is interesting that you had Bob Bradley, who was very like dogmatic. He was like, this is the way I play. This is my brand of football. I don't really change. I mean, Bob did make some changes, but he really, really wanted to stick to his guns. And maybe that's what eventually got him out the door. Then you bring in Steve, who is a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit down the middle. And that's what people maybe didn't like about Steve. I can tell you about Mark.
A little bit more hair.
A little bit more hair. And then now the guy with the full head of hair, I just know this from having conversations with him and just from the amount that he's willing to share and the amount that he we bounced ideas off each other. He seems like a tinkerer, like someone that really loves the game and really likes to get like under the hood of the team and figure out ways to make the team better. And from that perspective, maybe that's something that LAFC needed this season. But ultimately, the continuity, and I know people are already trying to get on that, like it's a good thing. He already knows the group in place, and John Thornton has gone out of his way to really solidify most of the group. Like there's really only 1 or 2 spots open in this group unless something else happens throughout the window. That's a great thing. You understand that like he has some kind of rapport with the players, clearly, because I think if he didn't, there's no chance this is even happening. Another thing that I want to talk about, or just quickly dispel, is he's Dolo light. You're just assuming because he worked with Steve that him and Steve always agreed. And I don't think that that's the case. And I've actually asked some people that were in that room, and that is not the case. But the way it works is Steve was the head coach. And throughout the week, the coaches will workshop a lot of things. There will be a lot of ideas thrown out there. From what I was told, the ideas did not always agree. But when Steve set the tone and said, but this is what we're going to do, Mark did what any good assistant does. And he tailored his trainings and he tailored his message to the players to the best of his ability to what his head coach wanted. And that's what he's supposed to do. So people that are clowning on him being like, well, you went along with that. Like, that's his job. He would have gotten fired and should have been fired. Well, it remains to be seen how he'll run that room. It may be that he's more like Bob, where it's like, these are my ideas, make it happen. You guys, you have kind of your own way of doing things, but like, I'm the boss. It seemed like Steve was a little bit more collaborative, but again, at the end of the day, what Steve said went, and the assistant coaches were there to carry it out. I'm excited about Mark. And then the last bit is just the Vancouver years. Remember, it was through COVID. Vancouver had to play in Utah. They had to play their home games in Utah because remember, they couldn't go back and forth over the border during COVID very easily. Just think how difficult that is as a coach and as a team with families and all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm that guy that's like, oh, these players are people, but like, really think about it. Like, that sucks. Your home games, they played their home games in some instances in their rivals' stadium in Portland. Like, how could that be ideal
it's hard to
at
take
all?
that seriously.
You know what I mean? And we did talk a little bit about this when it was rumored that it was Mark. He had a lot more control over player personnel situations. He will not have that at LAFC, and that actually seems to be what might have been a little bit more of his downfall at Vancouver. He was doing too much. Mark, the coach, incredibly well respected. A lot of people like his ideas. He has been a winner at other places, has taken teams that weren't as good in lower divisions and taken them to championships. Mark, the sporting director and or general manager, the jury's still out, like whether he could be that, but he won't have to do that with LAFC. So I think there's a lot of good signs. The only major downside of this is you didn't get a big name that you already know and that you think what to expect from them.
I think, let me just be the first to say Marc Dos Santos out. I think he's not right for the team. I think he's clearly like he can't win big games. He hasn't won a single game with us yet.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
right?
As much as Vince, as much as you want to say these positive things, it's like you believe the proof is in the pudding, right?
Mm-hmm.
When's the win coming?
When is the win coming?
How many?
February?
0 points.
That long?
0 points.
If we've learned anything from these past few seasons, you guys should go against me because it just makes for a better podcast. We can't all be on team the coach. All right, it'll just make for a better. So I embrace this.
Okay.
I embrace the debate, and I look forward to crushing you guys on every angle.
If
of
you ever
this
want to
going
win
forward.
a debate, ask us a question about soccer, and we won't be able to answer it. Darren, that's the conversation about Marc Dos Santos. What do you think should be our top priority? Our top priority. Why did I say it like that? What should be our top priority for the offseason? See, should we bring in an attacking midfielder, shore up the defense, or worry about our third attacking slot? What do you think, Darren?
Well,
how do
look
we take
here,
advantage of
see?
Son and Boanga's prime? See,
Son and Mwanga's prime, 1924. I think we need more creative midfielders with ideas who can supercharge the passing through from the defense up front. The less that Bouanga and Son have to track back, and the more we can get them the ball when they don't have to, and obviously Vince is going to give a smarter version of this, or just tell me why this is wrong. I think the better off will be if you look at teams whose best players are midfielders. I like our midfielders, but a lot of times you see those teams and you're like, oh my God, that guy's way better. Like, that would be amazing. I'm not saying like we ought to get that guy or this kind of guy, but like, imagine our team with someone like Evander or God forbid Pooch. Like,
Sure,
it would be nice to have somebody who, and they clearly were trying to do that, and didn't really hit the jackpot one way or another this past season. And maybe, honestly, maybe that guy is Tillman or Delgado or Gileson if we end up with him. I don't know how that's going to work, but like them with improvement could equal what I'm talking about. So I don't know. That's all I think we really need to do. Besides that, I'm really happy with where we're at.
Vince, we've re-signed Chouanier, we've re-signed Tillman, we've re-signed Hugo, Nathan Ordaz. We've made a bunch of re-signings already. And we should say the free agency opens tomorrow and we're recording it tonight. So something could have happened by the time this comes out. So, wow, I can't believe we signed.
Thank God. That's exactly what I wanted.
Do you guys want a sneaky name that I think would be an interesting signing for LAFC that's a free agent and it could come true by the time we have this? Fans will know him well. Gaston Brugman, former LA
I thought
Galaxy
you were going to cover
player.
your mouth like Travis did.
No.
To make it like
former LA Galaxy player who went to Nashville when they had to, inevitably, as you do after you win MLS Cup, shed some salary. He's a free agent. I think when you consider that Igor Jesus will probably be starting the season in rehab, and not that kind of rehab, but rehabbing his injury and not be quite ready. You think of a guy that knows the league as a defensive midfielder, but also is kind of tidy on the ball. And I agree with Aaron. What the fuck? I agree with Darren. You need a midfield guy, and maybe it's not super creative, but a guy that's kind of a hub and maybe more of a tempo setter, like a guy that knows when to hit the long ball to Sonny and Bouanga, a guy that knows when to slow it down and hold possession and get up the field as a unit. I don't know that LAFC really has that guy. I think Delgado has shown some bright spots as a 6 at times. Chouanier also. Tillman's definitely not that. Like he's further up the field. He really wants to be in space. I think Igor Jesus can be that, but he's still really learning the position as very young. So Gaston Brugman would be a very interesting player to bring along to LAFC that could fill that gap and be that kind of in between while Igor gets better. But yeah, there's not much to do. It's around the edges. And maybe we'll talk more about it. Like, how does LAFC decide? Are they going to go the 2-4 route like they did this last time? 2 DPs for under 22 players and the extra cash that comes with it, or are they going to get a DP? I think regardless, that player is going to be like an Andy Morin type player, a younger player that's got some attacking upside. And I would love for Andy Morin to come back if that is in fact possible. I think he really showed some bright spots towards the end of the season. And if he plays like he did, despite missing some big opportunities in that Vancouver game, like he's an exciting connective player. So yeah, like Darren says, a guy that can connect, a guy that wants the ball, that wants to, give and take the ball between teammates, and a guy that takes some of the burden off of Sonny and Bouanga having to come back for the ball. It's probably the number one priority. I've been seeing a lot of people say that fixing the defense is a priority, and I don't know where that's coming from. I mean, there's guys that
Aaron Long back.
He will be back, but he'll probably be rehabbing a little bit too. I thought the defense was actually one of the stronger parts of the team. Yeah, there's mistakes, like it's MLS. There's mistakes in any back line, but I'm not
looking at Porteous.
Porteous is sticking around.
Porteous and Valencia.
Obviously,
we're good. We're fine.
And Kosi had a really rough end of the season. Like his last couple games were air prone, and that worries me a little bit. But he also had like a run of like 10 games prior to that where I was like, he's like the best player on the field. So I think if Marc Dos Santos can get more out of him, Eddie is a great backup. Like you remember, you're not going to go like 10 deep with your center backs.
Newer fans who only watched After Sun never saw the team with Aaron Long, right? They never saw they never saw Chanot, who we lost, who had to retire middle of the season, who was one of our best center backs. It was a tough year for the defense, but by the end of the season, I felt okay about our defense. Despite losing 3 starters over the course of the season, it was a really rough year for turnover. But I think attacking midfield and like midfield creativity feels like Son and Bouanga were doing too much playmaking, and we need someone who could help them make that playmaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and defensively, really the only concerns I think are personnel-wise, because you look at the actual stats, like LAFC is one of the best defenses in the league from actual goals given up. But when you look at the way they limited shots and limited chances and in like your advanced metrics, they were top. So I don't think the defense really is a problem. Now, there could be debate on, well, maybe that's just the way Steve set them up. And if you loosen the strings, it could become a problem. I would argue, or not argue, I would say that maybe you're right, because I think that Steve kind of had the defense playing the way it did because he didn't think he had the personnel to play such a high line and kind of 1v1 defending where he could trust those guys. And that's where we kind of were like, ooh, in those moments when like Eddie would get 1v1 with a quick attacker, or Porteous would have a guy go, a dribbly boy go by him. You're like, okay, that's why you don't want to be so high up the pitch and leave those gaps. But we'll see. I think, still the biggest thing remains something that connects, a solid foundation with 2 just superstar attackers.
Imagine a network of pneumatic tubes that connect the defense and the attackers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Okay.
So third DP
I got stuck in the 20s.
Third DP should be series of pneumatic tubes.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Well, those are the
get 'em on the cheap.
storylines for the 2025 season. When we come back, we're going to talk about some more shit.
And we're back. We are doing our full year-end review. Let's get the final tally of our LAFC fantasy draft. If you are just joining us now, I don't know why, but we each drafted 4 LAFC players. To be clear, I don't know why you're just joining us now. I do know why we drafted 4 LAFC players to each of our squads for the course of the season. So whichever 4 players have the most total goals at the end of the season, the winner wins 1 free bacon-wrapped hot dog outside the stadium. Denny Bouanga, usually unavailable, this time was available, except for PKs. Travis took him with the first pick, of course. Mid-season fuckery landed Andy Morin on Vince's squad and Sonny on my squad. I'm not sure how I ended up with that. I forgot. But we can see how the rest shook out.
I think it was because 2 of the people on your team weren't on the team anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I picked Griezmann in the hopes that Griezmann would come. And Sonny is kind of like what we got instead of Griezmann. Let's see how the rest shook out. Let's take a look at your squad, Vince. The expert of the show, the one who actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to soccer. Mm-hmm. First pick of the draft, Olivier Giroud. Oh, that's an interesting segue.
So I get his goals for Lille,
tough.
Right? Like his calendar season goals.
Nope.
Actually,
so he had 3 goals in the season.
He stopped scoring for Lille too.
Abobasi with 5 goals, not bad.
Not bad.
Abobasi did kind of like quietly pick up a couple more goals at the end of the season there. Hollingshead with 2. Odin Holm.
Who?
No when to fold him. Odin Holm. 0. Andy Morin 1. 11 total goals for
Seems
Vince.
like a lot.
Not
Seems
looking
like a lot.
great. Not looking
Seems like a lot.
I mean, double
not
digits,
ideal.
right?
I think it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Double-digit goals. Yes. I was the laughing stock of the last reviews with my squad. Although it does make sense because I picked up Sonny and he had 12 goals.
Yeah, we threw you a lifeline, bud. It was you wasn't your smart. You're
My incredible draft in Q3.
I just knew it would pick up at the end of the year and Tillman would finally click into
My
place.
sleeper pick, nobody picked Sonny, and I was you know what?
Kike Oliveira.
5D chess over
Oliveira
here.
the day before he left the squad.
The episode
there was a day between.
Yeah. That's
there was a day in between
Oliveira
talking shit about fire victims and MLS and LAFC and him leaving. And that day in between is when I picked him.
Yeah, he had already been mean to the city of LA when you you did it.
It was, by the way, there were headlines.
It was back in the news.
But it was like most of the headlines didn't include him. It was just so funny to be like, I know who that's referring to. There was like MLS player said that the coach of Uruguay said that MLS was like a shit league, and it was like mostly MLS players that beat them in the U.S. national team, including our next player, Timothy Tillman, with also 0 goals.
Yeah, what the fuck, Timmy?
That is rough. You can't go 0 on the season. But Antoine Griezmann, I was hoping we would get him in the second window. We did not. Nathan Ordaz.
And the final pick of the draft.
Goals.
The final pick of the draft was Nathan Ordaz. I want everyone to know
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He had 8 goals. Sonny coming in hot with 12, and I ended with 20. What an incredible draft for me. Let's move on.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about... Oh, wait, I do think we forgot about me. I think we forgot about mine.
Oh, we can go to the next thing.
No, I'll just read it real quick.
We've got a lot to get to
it.
In this episode.
Because I think, Darren...
we covered Sonny, and I said you had Bouanga, so...
Yeah, I'm assuming Darren won. Let me just go through this and double check. Bouanga with... wait, Darren, what did you have total?
20.
And you're in the lead right now?
I guess so. I guess yeah.
Okay, because right here it says Denny Bouanga, 23 total goals. Would that mean with one player I beat both of you in the goal draft?
Yeah, I guess. And
would we agree that we said that it doesn't include penalty kick goals as well?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Huh?
That is interesting.
Okay. Yeah. And then I also have David Martinez because you chose Kike Oliveira in the first round.
You know what's funny? 6. You beat Vince with everyone but Bouanga.
That's funny. That's very funny.
Move on.
David Martinez with 6. Igor Jesus with 1 more than Timothy Tillman. 4 for Mark Delgado. And you gave me Chouanier when you each got an extra goal too. So me and Andy Moore and Chouanier canceled out. So 35 total goals for me. This is my first goal draft that I ever won. And I want to say thank you to my father for getting me the first pick because he died.
Darren,
now give a eulogy for my father.
You're a tough act to follow.
All right, let's do it. We're moving on. It's an honor, and I can't wait to be first pick next year as well because I'm the only one.
No, you don't get to be first pick when you win.
How many dead parents do you guys have?
I'm working on it. What?
Whoa.
Sorry.
This goal draft means a lot to Vince.
That's actually only in my head because I don't know if you guys had seen Will Arnett on Conan's podcast, and they were talking about. Oh, it's actually very funny. Will was like. Reached out to Conan when his dad died, and Conan replied back something along the lines of, it was Bateman. Bateman killed my father. And then tragically, and this is true, Conan's mother died like 2 days later.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm laughing because the joke is funny, and they're laughing too at this point. Arnett, so they're texting back and forth. Like Arnett's like, oh, that's really funny. Bateman says like, I can't believe you're onto him, blah, blah, blah. And so after Conan's mom died, Arnett wrote, hey, Bateman's asking for your sister's address. Okay to give it to him? And they just talked about how funny and like morbid and dark that was.
Wow.
And Conan wrote back, yeah, she lives at this place. Make it look like an accident.
Oh my God. That's great.
We can cut that if we want, but
you don't even have to listen to other podcasts. We'll just recap the other podcasts.
Yeah.
That's our off-season key bump. It's going to be a podcast aggregation podcast.
Think about that. That might be the next thing.
Let's go through our bold predictions now.
Yes, bold predictions. Giroud, Golden Boot. Nope. That was me. Travis, the Columbus Crew will not make the playoffs. So close, but no cigar.
And my original one did hit. I just didn't get it. Which was San Diego
ends the season with more points than the Galaxy and the Earthquakes.
And the Crew almost didn't make it either. So like he was very close.
But that San Diego one seemed too crazy, so I stopped doing it.
I mean, you were at least on the right track with yours. I was not. Vince, an MLS team will win the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Bonus, it probably won't be Messi's team.
Also
again,
close.
pretty close.
So close.
But again, no cigar. Other predictions. Davi Martinez breakout year. That's a no. Travis and Vince on soccer-wise. Over 12.5 goals. That's a negative.
This is the craziest prediction. The Vince last one.
Yes. If Dolo is out, it will be on his own terms. At the time,
won't get
this
fired,
seemed like pretty outlandish, and it hit.
It was, do you think he'll last the season or will he get fired? And I think one of us said fired, one of us said last the season, and Vince said if he's out, it's on his own terms. And then,
what, Vince? Let's double your goal total for that.
Yay!
Oh,
Does that mean do I at least get to second?
Yeah, you do actually.
Yeah. And honestly,
22.
we could
It's
triple
crazy
it,
how
and you're
close that
still in
was.
second. If you triple it, you're still in second.
Let's triple your goal
We'll
total.
triple your goal total.
Wow, Travis, you eked out a victory, 35-33, historic.
Yeah.
New bold predictions. We had the gift of hindsight, sort of. I said that Son would win the golden sneaker, which I invented, which is the most goals from now on at the time.
Yeah, he was close-ish.
I believe it was Messi.
Yeah,
Bouanga
Messi scored more
also
goals, and even
yeah.
Bouanga scored more goals than Son, but
Yeah.
he was close.
Travis, LAFC MLS Cup champs. Hurts to say it out loud. That did not hit. Vince, Bouanga Golden Boot. Also,
Messi
I'm
blew
thinking
that
about
out of the water.
When did you predict that, though?
He was like 6 goals back.
Yeah,
but maybe
it was
had a
before.
couple games in hand, and I was like, he's going to go on a heater. But I could not have imagined that. Messi scored like 8 goals in his last like 2 games or something, like 2 or 3 games.
Wrong
But you
heater.
did that. You predicted that before there was that crazy run of hat tricks from both Son and Bouanga, where it was like 3
That's true.
games in a row with hat trick.
Yeah. Anyway, it's wrong.
But you suck.
So that's that. One thing that happened this season, moving on, if you can believe it, this was the same season that we said goodbye to Carlos Vela.
What?
That happened. That was all this year. Earlier, we said goodbye to Carlos Vela, and maybe my favorite episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
Wow. That's as long.
Maybe?
It was cool.
This is so we had some amazing contributions from our listeners and viewers with their favorite Carlos Vela memories. I started tinkering with something in the background as the rest of the season played out to compile all those memories, including some that didn't make the episode, and all the photos and videos and audio that everyone mentioned in their memories. And then I just kind of sat on it because it felt like an end of the season thing. Unless you happen to notice me post the link casually late at night in the Discord one time. But as one thing we certainly should not forget about from one of what felt like many seasons that happened this season, I want to finally officially announce something that felt like it felt big while I was making it, but honestly, it's just a fucking PDF. It's the Carlos Vela King of Our History Crazy Wall.
But honestly, it's just a fucking PDF.
Yeah, it's a PDF available for download on our Patreon at patreon.com/happyfootsadfoot. You don't have to be a member to get it, or even a free member. But if you want to sign up while you're there, great. I hope people enjoy it. It's pretty cool. It's like a virtual Crazy Wall thing. It's fun. And it's a cool little keepsake so that by the end of the season, we forgot about it, I feel like. So let's have a thing to be able to look at that's nice.
I fully forgot that he retired this year.
Crazy. Thank you to this is all really just like from Friends of the Foot, as opposed to a lot of stuff that we try to do for Friends of the Foot. This is like our community who all contributed to make this what I think is pretty cool. So check it out. I'm done with my plug.
Thank you for doing that, Darren. I can't wait to do it. Well, before we do mailbag, quickly, there was something we talked about on text that I don't think is in the script that I want to quickly see if we could do, which is
this could be anything.
Ask each other a question from the season about something that we don't think they'll remember. Like the season had so many crazy moments. Yeah. Like Darren, what was the example of thing you said that we forgot?
Oh, I remembered it myself and was like, it was this year that Palencia beat hate speech allegations.
Yeah. He was accused. We came down hard against Palencia, and then he was cleared of wrongdoing.
Oh shit! Yeah,
crazy, right? That was this year.
That feels like forever ago.
So I thought of a question because that was this year. I was like, what happened this year that we might not remember? And okay. I didn't remember this, and I think Vince might remember it. But I'm going to ask it. Vince, if you remember it, don't say the answer. I want to see if Darren remembers it.
Is it really just like honestly answer, and that's what we're doing here?
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you a question. Club World Cup.
Uh-huh.
We played Chelsea and lost, but had a good game. We played Tunis and we caused an international incident. Darren, what's the name of the third team we played in the Club World Cup?
Oh, fuck. Oh, wow. What a great pull.
Do you know,
Oh,
Vince?
my God.
I know.
Vince knows. Okay. I had a feeling.
Oh, was it Palmeiras?
Nope.
You're in the right. You're in the right country.
Yeah, it's
right
a Brazilian team. Fuck, I don't remember. It was a Brazilian team, though.
Vince?
Flamengo.
Yeah, wow.
I was just like, what? Because that game, it was a draw. We didn't remember it, right? That we were thinking about the Chelsea game. And like, well, if we beat Tunisia, or was Tunisia the second game?
Yeah, it was the second game.
Yeah,
It was the second game, and
yeah, that's when we had the crash out.
That was where the dream
that's
died.
why it was so
like,
disappointing, because it was like, we had to win this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's
so
no way
we're gonna
the
beat
Flamingo game
Flamengo.
didn't even matter. I just wanted to quiz you on that because I thought it was funny.
That is crazy.
Anyone
I
else
have
have one?
I have one that could be easy, but I think that like it has been so long ago. Who scored the first goal of the season for LAFC? Because a lot of people have forgotten this. We've talked about it throughout the season.
I actually do know this one.
I think, Darren, you know this one
Travis.
because we were talking about it like in a post game, and people were like, "I don't remember," and we were like, "What?"
Travis, do you know?
I mean, I'm going to just
unless
guess.
I'm wrong.
I don't know. Is it Abobasi?
It was a Bowie.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
The one and
Just a
only
guess.
goal and a 1-0 victory over Minnesota in our first game of the season at
Man,
home.
That's insane.
That fucking beginning of the season was such a slog. I mean, no wonder people had bad vibes about the season. It was a rough first couple months.
You know what's interesting? It really was if you watch the games, but if you just look at the results of the fixtures in their season, it really doesn't look that bad. Like you wouldn't, it doesn't really track with how it felt at all. It's
It was
just
an ugly games though we had to watch.
It's like a lot of ugly ties, a lot of ugly 1-0 wins and 1-0 losses.
We had the snow
Very
discourse, like where everyone was clowning on us for being upset about the snow.
That was this season?
Yeah, that was the beginning of this season with snow discourse.
Wow, you got another one on me. I thought that was last season.
It was like the third game or second game to start the year.
That's
and can you
wild.
believe we're going to play in the winter?
Oh no!
Not the winter. Hey, we thought of a bunch of things once we started talking about this.
Oh, okay, great. Let's go through a couple and then we'll do mailbag.
Do we remember Cengiz Under?
That's just
I
funny
remember
to say.
arguing with the guy.
I mean, how could Travis forget?
Yeah, Travis can't forget. Kenny Nielsen got called up to the first team, was inches from a bicycle kick goal. Then we never heard from him again.
Yeah, but we still love him because he looks like the kind of guy who would steal your girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is a lovable trait.
Not your wife, just your girlfriend.
Right? Yeah, because we're in high school. We're high school cucks.
What a
Kenny,
what a phrase!
Can you guys
Kenny's
guess?
just her friend.
My girlfriend and Kenny Nielsen are like such good friends. It's so awesome that my best friend and my girlfriend get along so well. Like, look at them fighting. Like,
She's
for
just
fun.
helping him. She's helping him with homework, and
Oh,
just because
man.
they're wrestling on Snapchat stories doesn't mean anything.
Okay, here's a subjective, like not mathematical, but from my eyes, going to many games, including many of the final games this season, what was the most well-attended match at BMO Stadium this year?
Oh, I know for sure.
The Sun home debut.
Nope.
Travis?
Hello Kitty Night.
That's correct. Yes.
Hello Kitty Night was unlike anything I've seen since MLS Cup.
That's
Without
the most
a
back
doubt.
I've ever seen in the stadium.
Without
I
a doubt.
I can't believe that happened before we got Sunny. And then we got
that's
Sunny, and
crazy.
it didn't
Oh my God!
live
Yeah,
up
they're
to
gonna
it.
fucking cancel that. That's for
Just
sure.
one more thing I want to add: the DoorDash integration.
Carlos Vela, DoorDash ambassador.
Live,
Pretty
okay,
pretty funny.
pretty
Okay.
funny. Our first live stadium integration. No, I guess that's what club ambassador means. All right, we have a mailbag. Why don't we each pick one question since we're already pretty long?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like it.
Thank you everyone for
LAFC
sending them. We're not going to do all of them.
Yeah. Okay, is LAFC scared of getting a third DP? That's interesting.
Do you want me to
Is
rapid
Denise
fire
saying
like
yes?
answer some of these?
There is a rapid fire answer. Why not?
I mean, don't forget that there's incentives to having 2 DPs and 4 under 22 players, you can spread more money out across your roster to give yourself more depth. That made sense for LAFC this season, especially with as many games as they had.
Okay. What should we do with our current youth signings next season?
Someone needs to have a very stern talk with Martinez and just, help him out. Maybe get him a sports psychiatrist or something like that, psychologist.
Offseason wish list. I think we already covered that.
We covered that.
If each of you were the new coach, what tactics and style of play would you implement? Is that are we tackling that head on? What do we think?
So I saw this one.
Score more goals.
I would love to play in a way in which
that's my favorite tactic.
We were possession heavy and we penned teams in and we took we created a lot of chances and basically wore teams down, kind of like they played in 2019. However, the big caveat of this is that what the players you have at your disposal? So just remember that. Like, do you have the type of players to play in that game model? I always argued that Steve was actually trying to optimize the players that he had. Could he have leaned a little more possession? Sure. And I think he did this season. But you can't just overnight say, hey, we're going to play like Barcelona. It does not work that way.
I would like to see, this is going to be oddly specific, I would like to see Smolyakov become really good at set pieces.
Sure.
And the team be really good at set pieces without having to rely on Sonny or Bawanga to take them.
I mean, playing Smolyakov just in general, an actual left-footed player playing on the left side would give you some natural width. That would be an interesting thing. And I think we all said that we were excited that Ryan's coming back for the continuity and the reason that he still was a good player. But we think that very much it should be a kind of phasing out at this moment because Smolyakov has shown that he stepped up to the challenge. He was not a guy that we counted on at all early in the season, and he really put in the work. So I think he deserves to kind of eclipse Ryan at some point in the season. And that, like I said, that gives a different nuance to LAFC's attack.
Here's the one that I want to actually talk about. This is from the infamous G-Dub. I think the thing on everyone's mind surrounding our new coach is, what will his nickname be?
Ooh.
We had Dolo, so what should Mark Dos Santos be called? And this is risky because Dolo did come out fairly organically. Mm-hmm. He threw out old Marky Two Saints. Doso.
I like
Doso.
Doso is funny because you could say Doso out.
God damn it.
But it doesn't. But you don't know that Doso doesn't feel because Santos starts with an A, right? It would be Dosa, which has a different meaning.
Yeah. He says also you should absolutely check out www.markdossantos.com.
Why? What's there?
I'm not gonna. Let's not talk about it. Everyone, feel free to visit it.
Markdossantos.com. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to click it.
Yeah.
I think MDS is also it's great when you have
strong.
MDS is great. And it sort of reminds me of MBS, the Saudi prince. It just feels like, and it's an easy way to be like, he's evil.
You could say Prince MDS.
Yeah. MDS just is an easy shorthand, one letter less than Dolo. No more MDS BS. Am I right, guys?
Oh, well done.
Wow, that's good. Yeah. Well, this is an open question. Throw it in the comments. What's a good one?
Yeah, we don't decide. We're not the mouthpiece of the fans.
Yeah, I would say we're definitely not.
when he's what people think he might be, people would say, "Oh, yeah, another day with Mark Dolo Santos."
Let's skip to these ones down
here. It
here.
hurts because then you know it's going to happen. That's why it's just painful.
Okay. Funniest moment of the podcast this season.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I have one. I mean, there's a few. My personal one was Travis undercover at the Sounders game, disappearing.
That was fun. Yeah.
Disappearing from the post game and then popping up at different places all around and with different articles of clothing, a scarf here, a different area here. And then being there in the middle when a couple of guys behind him were really, really mad at the referee. And we were really actually worried for Travis's safety because we thought they were onto him. But that was I don't know. It was just so on brand for us to have Travis not even be at the game we were talking about, but continuing to go back to him and ask him questions about it, even though he was in the middle of another game. And it was just, it was pure comedy for me.
That's definitely a big highlight for me from this season is all of the times that we ended up checking in with someone at a stadium that wasn't the stadium where the game was played that we were doing the post game for.
Yeah.
That happened maybe at more than 5 times, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Was it this year when Two Nips showed up behind Noah, or that was last year? That's still one of my favorite
Starfire
moments.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was last year.
I mean, the Starfire game might be the funniest game in LAFC history. Bwanga pisses on the field.
Yeah.
The game
train.
itself is laughable. Yeah, the game itself is laughable, but we get kind of like I would say, slightly debatable penalty. Bwanga obviously makes it, and then the post game with Noah and Danny. It's perfect.
That's so funny.
I don't know if this is the funniest moment of the show, but the thing that people talk to me about still to this day the most was the Labubu rant, which came entirely organically, which was just me hating Labubus. And people keep bringing it. I don't think it's necessarily the funniest thing we've ever done, but it's stuck in people's brains for some reason.
just like the Labubus did.
Oh man, I still hate him. Snoopy is so much better than Labubus.
I mean, you did have some epic crash outs this year.
I crashed out a few times this year.
Yeah. I think that first time that we just decided to stay on the live stream for like over 2 hours.
That was really fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny for me. Like in hindsight, like after the fact, because I went to sleep and literally had messages on my phone from people like in Instagram being like, "Hey, why don't you stay on? It was really fun." Or like
they're talking about Dreamcast.
or even better, they would be like these weird messages like, "Dude, those guys are crazy." I'm like, "Oh, what happened? I don't know what happened."
Those live streams. I mean, the live streams this year have been great, and also like, we'll talk about more sincere stuff I think after, but like the amount of new fans that we've gotten to like meet and hang out with is just fucking crazy. It's such a cool. We can be sincere at the end, whatever. I think the funniest moment for me, honestly, was Darren picking Kike Oliveira in the first round when we all knew that there were rumors that he was going to be gone immediately. Like I think Bogert even tweeted about it. And then before the episode came out, and it just was like, okay, I'll take David Martinez, I guess, you fuck.
I was just looking at the roster and I just impulsively said it. Because I was like, if you look at a list of players, he's up there.
It also speaks to a game.
I stuck with it.
But a game that we have in our group text is that Darren will always send us news 8 hours after we've read it. And that is exactly what happened.
It's like 2 days.
Yeah, sometimes
it'll be like, did you see this tweet? It's crazy. And it'll be like, yeah, me and Vince like already talked about it on air, man. Like,
or even in the actual group chat. That's the best one when we'll have a back and forth, but Darren will be part of it, and then we'll talk about other things.
Oh yeah,
and then Darren will come back.
And then I'll be like, guys, do you see this?
Yeah, and it's never. By the way, it's never just like he slides it in. He goes like, "Whoa, guys, this is so crazy. How are we not talking about this?" And we're like, "Are you fucking with us?" Like we're not sure.
We'll scroll up and reply to the moment we were talking about it so he could find it.
And then Vince will be like, here's the tweet Travis put out on our account.
I've already been canceled for my response to this. Right.
Yeah.
Also, Mr. Spectrum was fun. Mr.
Spectrum. I think that's my pick for actual funniest moment. Was Mr. Spectrum. Travis. That was my favorite Travis crash out too.
People also were genuinely mad. I was really mad.
How
you were genuinely mad for like 2
sincere.
weeks.
Yeah.
You were mad on air once or twice. You were like mad for 2 weeks.
Well, part of what's frustrating about it was that like, I'm still mad. You could tell is like on the live stream, we'll say something in the beginning and people will join and then they'll comment on it after we've done it. And so when I'm getting annoyed that people are talking shit about my Wi-Fi not working and they're like, why don't you restart your router or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm like,
the advice
we've already fucking tried it.
The advice is what put you over the edge.
Yeah.
And for people that like to pull back the curtain,
which of course made people do it more.
Because we're talking about like our text chats. There's times when Travis is really mad about something, but we're all funny guys. And Travis was also very funny even when he's mad. And so Darren and I will be together and Travis will be like, just hate texting. Like, I can't believe this is fucking happening. Something. But both of us will just look at each. And then I remember there was one time Darren and I were actually at the stadium together and you were like late to the game and you were so pissed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You were stuck in
traffic. Darren and I were both like, he's being really funny. So should we be funny back? Or should I just...
I was having a full-blown anxiety attack.
There's nothing we
can do. It was getting to the
messy
game.
Yeah. We're like, there's nothing we can do, but also like he's being funny. So maybe if we say something funny back, I'm like, but then we were like, yeah, but what if we say something funny back that just makes him more mad? And so it was a very long conversation, but I think what diffused the whole situation is we did actually respond back to you and you were like, yeah, I'm sorry about this, and then made a really funny but angry joke, and we're like, okay, he's so good.
I remember that, and that I get angry a lot, huh?
No, we're just pulling the highlights.
Thinking about that, I'm like, I was genuinely upset that I couldn't get off the highway for the Messi game. But I got there
wouldn't
late.
you be?
Oh yeah,
That's
we can tell.
reasonable.
You were sending us like real time pictures of like where you were. You were like, I'm only here. Now I'm only here. Look at how much traffic's here. And Darren and I were just like, what do we do?
This was also the moment where you taught me the trick with the exit that I used for the rest of the season.
Yeah, there you go. See, somebody got.
The Swoon Tower collabs I thought were a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Scorchers gets a lot of credit, but Swoon Tower is near and dear to our heart.
That's the episode I think I cut the most out of this season. I'll say the
Swoon Tower?
second Swoon Tower.
Oh my God, Swoon Tower! If you're listening, yeah, I'm still feeling bad.
I cut a lot of really funny stuff. I'm so sorry. No one's ever seeing it. Not a chance. I cut a lot of stuff out of this season.
There was yeah. If we think of how many cum jokes we keep in the show, and then guess what we cut out.
Yeah, imagine how absolutely devastating it would be for any of us if any of that stuff got out.
Guess how many I've cut out already in this episode.
Yeah. Basically, we can never piss Darren off, is the moral of this. Yeah. Darren is the keeper of our collective.
Mr. Miller,
you and I,
please.
Travis, our careers. Yeah.
Mr. Miller, please cut it out.
We're somewhat public.
Fucking dick, Mr. Miller.
Oh no.
We're somewhat public figures, and Darren could easily torpedo both of us.
All right. Okay. I think that's enough mailbag. I think we got some good stuff, right? Or is there another question? Louis G's question.
When is the Suck merch coming?
When is the Suck merch coming?
Oh, third Suck. When is the Suck merch coming?
If you guys don't know, at the end of one of the live streams, it was the last one. We told the story. We got the inside information about the fake
the Vanny Sartini
from Vanny Sartini.
The Phantom Fellatio.
The Phantom Fellatio.
Ooh, wow.
Put that on the back of the shirt.
Buzzer beater nickname.
I mean, we should get some Vanny Sartini to suck at Steve Cherundolo dick merch now that they're both gone.
Can the back be what Steve said after? I don't know what that was about.
Yeah. Suck. Okay, if you want to know the whole story, go back and listen to the end of the where I was drunk at the end of the Vancouver.
I was also very drunk.
Yeah, we got the shot.
We live streamed for 7 hours.
Yeah, we did. Too much. We're going on 90 minutes now. All right, let's go. Let's give out some awards. Those are our mailbags. Thank you everybody for sending stuff in. When we come back, we're going to give out our happy feet and sad feet and our awards for this season.
And we're back.
Bet it and forget it.
Oh, man.
Now it's time for a segment we're calling the Happy Foot, Sad Foot Peace Prize. As you know, FIFA this week gave out the FIFA Peace Prize to the much-deserved Donald Trump, a man who seemed genuinely touched by a fake award that was like a fake award clearly meant to bribe him into liking FIFA and letting them do what they want. And
he also kept one of those Club World Cup winners medals too.
I saw that.
Wild.
And he
also, did you see the board? The FIFA board launched a formal investigation into it because apparently Infantino just did it rogue on his own.
I mean, they seem real close. And what I love about it is the trophy also is terrifying. It looks like hands like
creepy as fuck.
Dragging Earth to hell. But we wanted to give out our own Peace Prize. And what that means is we're each going to go around. We're going to give our happy foot from the season, our sad foot from the season, and then we're going to give an award. And we get to pick what the award is. It's a made-up award, just like the Peace Prize.
Go.
Okay, so I have a two-prong happy foot. One is from the podcast. I think there's a lot of ones from the podcast this year, obviously, and then ones from the season. I think from the podcast, my very favorite. Obviously, this grew a lot with new fans this year, and I'm very thankful for that. But a specific moment where I realized we had grown something cool was around the fires at the beginning of the season. We hadn't even started. We were about to record our preview, and we raised I think a couple grand for first responders and people who lost their homes. And we just did it by asking our listeners to throw in some money. It was an awful year for a lot of people in Los Angeles, and we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary. And there's a lot of moments this season where I realized like we've built something cool that's bigger than I ever thought would be possible when we started doing this, because none of us know anything about soccer. Well, Vince does, but he wasn't involved at first. But then to like make a tangible difference at a scary moment and just be like, hey, we know some of our listeners have a few bucks. Can you throw us some money and we'll try to raise some money for people who have lost their homes and first responders, families who have passed away. And that was just a happy foot where I'm like, oh, I'm really happy for the community around this show and how kind and weird. Like, we have a group of fucking weirdos that watch this show, and it's what makes it really, really fun.
In the best way.
Yeah. I like it. I admire the personality of the listeners of this show. Very silly around something that can be taken very seriously. And I just want to say thank you, especially when they raise money. My favorite moment of the season, because I'm going first, I'm only going to say one. I have a couple up here. I think my happy foot for the season is Son's goal in the Vancouver game in the playoffs. I know it was not.
This is like a draft
for the win. I mean,
you got the first pick.
Was that going to be yours? Because I have another one.
No, I have one that I specifically wrote as a backup to if that was picked.
That's funny. It just was. There were a couple moments this season that made me feel like jump for joy excited as a fan, which I don't think happened outside of US Open Cup last year. This season had a couple of them. And the one that I hadn't felt that way. The Son goal made me feel a way I hadn't felt since the Gareth Bale goal. It was just, even though we lost the game, that goal could have been the second best goal. It probably would have probably been the second best goal in team history if we won that game, right? Like, it would have been up there with Vela. The Gareth Bale goal is obviously number one. But that goal just made me feel a way that I haven't in a long time.
The Sun stuff, the reason why we're all like, oh, we need something different is because like it's obvious, right? Like he is just transcendent in the world of football, and to have a player like that on your team makes you feel good anytime you come into the stadium. I've talked about this often. There was a point in 2019 where Carlos Vela scored in every home game except for like 2. So you could literally come into the stadium and know that your favorite player was probably going to score a goal. And like, to Travis's point, sometimes you lose those games, but like you walk away being like, at least I got to jump up and down and celebrate my team and my favorite player. And that's what, like, ultimately, I think for young children, at least, especially for me, like I grew to love my favorite player because I saw him scoring goals. And then that became my favorite team. And like, I think that's how you create affinity in the younger generation. I think that's super cool. And I think the benefits of Sonny being with this team will be decades to come because of the amount of young fans that will join. And Carlos Vela should be proud of what he did to start the team because he's part of that as well. On a, I guess, also serious note, but the kind of off topic, my happy foot, I think I was at that, we'll call it the fuck ice game. That game was something. It's very rare for me to go to a game and say that's something I've never witnessed and or experienced before. To be at a game and everyone's silent and you can hear people talking around the stadium. You could hear the players talking around the stadium, and it was done with a purpose. Honorable mention to that, the camera operator and director of BMO Stadium on the Jumbotron knew their job and they stuck to it, and they put Fuck Ice banner on as often as possible. And that was, I kid you not, the only cheers you heard in the stadium. Even when goals happened, it was really all about that. And then leaving that game, the amount of people that said that they were kind of touched by that gesture and touched by the reverence we spoke about the game, because it affected us emotionally, not just obviously everything that led up to it, but then the actual gesture itself. So that is something that will always stick with me, and something that I hope I never have to experience again, but was very cool that the 3252 and all the other LAFC fans came together to make that moment happen. I think it was important, despite everything that was happening, for the people that the people, it was scary. People braved to go to that game. And they said, like, hey, if we're all here together, like, they're not going to fuck with us. And I thought that was pretty cool.
On that note, real quick, we joke about Travis's crash outs, but there's a reason why we often feel very comfortable with Travis speaking for all of us. And that is that sometimes he uses his crash out powers for good, which happened that night. And that is a highlight for me that I really do constantly feel so comfortable. Despite the insanity that sometimes comes out, I really appreciated that you really did so eloquently put how we all felt, which was what we felt so strongly about what was happening.
Thank you for saying that.
Duality of the crash out.
I appreciate it. It was going to be one of my sad feeds. I hated talking about it. It was just like a nightmare to talk about it. But that
almost I think as much as you hated talking about Labubu's.
Labubu's are worse. The Vince's point, I think, like it was a happy moment for the club, and I think like there's something. I was so proud of the team and like the organization of LAFC because so many teams around the league immediately crack down on that, right? And MLS told them to. MLS started telling them to not allow these signs in the stadium. And so the signs I don't think were allowed in BMO, but LAFC allowed that to go on for a long time. There were rumors that they were going to stop people from wearing the Abolish ICE shirts that go around. I wore that shirt to multiple games. They never stopped it. It was...
in the press box, I think.
It was a awful time for the city, and I was so proud of our community and the team because there were so many organizations that bowed to fucking money and fear, and LAFC decided that they would not do that. And even if it didn't ever get as protest heavy as it did that first night again, it took bravery from the administration of the team to say, we know that we have to say something right now because a lot of millionaires and billionaires wouldn't allow, I just spit all over the screen, wouldn't allow their fans to say that. But thank you. That was a great happy foot, Vince.
My happy foot somehow hasn't come up this episode yet. The Bouanga goal that got us into the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup. Did I say that weird? Mm-hmm. The Bouanga goal that got us into the Club World Cup as part of a 10 straight unbeaten matches ahead of the Club World Cup streak that we were on after such an insanely terrible start. Not really terrible in terms of results so much as like, wow, we're really in the doldrums in terms of like the team felt like it lacked an identity. It felt like we weren't finding the way that we play in any way that's good. Like we found ourselves feeling a bit sad and frustrated after wins, even on post-game shows. And then they started going on the streak. And that one moment was like, we might have something this season, finally. And we're going to the Club World Cup. And the club just made $10 million. We won that game in such dramatic fashion all at once. It was like really kind of like a foreshadow to the Sonny goal and the end of the season. The Chekhov's gun of the Sonny goal. Both
Chekhov's son.
All for naught, of course. Chekhov's son. So that was my happy foot. Yeah.
There was a string of wins in the middle of the season that felt really at home wins, right? It was the America win. We had the Miami win, but we ended up losing in Miami, which ended up making it not matter. But that felt really good when Ordaz fucking scored 2 goals against Miami. And
that hasn't been mentioning it. Just that one moment of the ref giving Ordaz a yellow card instead of a red card.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a bit of craziness. Yeah, beating Columbus also
and Columbus at home. Yeah.
Just like and really beating them like physically we were just overpowering them.
That's the game where I got a little hope. Was the Columbus game.
And Bouanga scored a sick goal in that game. Remember the chip?
Oh yeah. That's
a goal that actually that should have been my remember that goal because that goal is up there as like just the level of difficulty. That goal was sick.
Yeah.
All right, sad foot. I have a couple, but I'll just give the one that I think might get overlooked. I think Chanot's retirement is really tragic. He was young and I really loved him and he was a really important player for this team. And I think it's such a bummer about it and is an important reminder for anyone who has kids that play sports. Like the injury didn't look bad. It just looked like a normal run-of-the-mill concussion, but it was clear that he had other head knocks before, or maybe this one was pretty bad. And it took him months to come back. And then he tried. And that was really awful where he like came on for 15 minutes and then had to sit down and then had to retire.
Hit in the head again. That's how he came out that match that he came back in. He got hit in the head.
He got hit again. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Well, it just was Chanot, I thought had a long future with this team. And I think there's a lot of injuries that happen, but a man retiring over something that doesn't look that bad is just a reminder of how serious to take concussions when you have young people in your life playing sports. Like they weren't that bad. And he had to quit the thing he's worked his whole life for because his life was in danger. And I like, it's just something to consider. So that's a sad foot. And also the other sad foot is everyone being mean to me about my internet. I would say my internet. Actually, that's my sad foot is everyone being mean to me about my internet.
Yeah.
Fuck Chanel. I was really upset about the internet stuff.
The thing I can't get out of my head is we got like an anonymous, I don't know if I can say this, I'm sure. We got like an anonymous tip of sorts that someone ran into Chanel. They ran into Chanel in Central Park in New York. Mm-hmm. And I guess he was like seeing a specialist doctor there, and they had an exchange because this was a fan. The fan was excited to see him, and he was like, apparently was like hopeful about returning to the field soon. Maybe he was just making small talk, but the relay that they were trying to get to us was like, it seems like he's potentially coming back soon, because he was so hopeful in that exchange that he'd be back soon, and he just wasn't.
In fact, he retired very soon after that meeting. And I think
whenever his name is brought up, I picture, and obviously I wasn't there, but like I literally picture him sitting on a park bench. That's just what it goes to in my head. It's very sad.
There was I don't know if any of this is true, but I think the vibe I got was that he was about to see a doctor, and he retired so soon after that. I think that doctor specialist probably is where he learned he probably couldn't play. Right? I think they saw him before he learned the news, and then just a couple days later, he had to announce his retirement. It's just a bummer. Wow, sad foots are bummers.
Yeah, sad foots are bummers.
What's your sad foot, Vince?
I'm torn between two. Mine is somewhat injury related to the major injuries to Igor and Aaron. Like, we've been actually pretty lucky in the fact that I think Eddie Segura is the only like major contributor that had a big time injury in the season, but like two guys to go down with season ending injuries it's tough. That's tough luck. And then the Giroud stuff. Everything about it, man. It's depressing to watch him. It was depressing to talk about him. The discourse was way too much. And then even when he left, it was all about like, haha, see, he's good. He's scoring goals in preseason games in France. And like, Steve fucked up. And it was just like, I think we can all agree there are good players that sometimes just don't fit the right situation. And for Giroud, it was on the field. It was off the field too. I think we all forget he got robbed. His house got robbed. His family wasn't settling in. Like, there was just so much, but like, just because you don't work out doesn't mean it's anybody's fault per se. It's like, that's kind of how it goes sometimes. Like, every player transaction is a risk. And I'm saying that, and you can laugh at me because wholeheartedly when he came, I was like, this is a slam dunk. Like, he's going to be great and blah, blah, blah. I think what I should have said if I was being more pragmatic about it was what we said later there's no GM in the entire league that would have said no to Olivier Giroud on a free. You take that chance. That's what LAFC did. I'm glad my club took that chance. It's incredible to have a World Cup winner play for your club, and that's something that like we should never take for granted, especially as we see like Son getting honored at Tottenham with Gareth Bale doing the honors and remembering, hey, both those guys played for our team. Isn't that fucking cool? So that I don't know, that just bummed me out. I hope it's a lesson. I don't think it's one that we'll remember, but it should be, it should be a lesson. And like, there's no sure things in this league. Everything's a risk, but yeah, it was just a bummer. It doesn't make him a bad player. Yeah. I also think it colored our ability to get Thomas Muller too, who wouldn't have been bad if we had Muller and Son. Yeah. Maybe he wouldn't have fit the system as well, but the rumor we were hearing that both, in fact, we heard both were done.
We had heard Muller was done and that Son was close. And then we kept hearing and then we heard Son is done. And so I kept saying, this is just us back channeling, like, let's really hit Muller. It seems like that's happening. Let's prepare people for people being disappointed about that, because the vibe at the time was, oh, another Giroud. And Son didn't seem like a possibility. And then we only got Son. But we had heard both deals were done. We just we were told we couldn't say anything because it would be obvious who told us.
Unless that was a false report, that we got so close to that. That's crazy.
Yeah. We had a couple of false reports this year.
No, we got so close to that happening. Like, like they were so far along talking to him about potentially being on our team.
I've seen people say that like he chose Vancouver, and I think we said no to Thomas Muller.
I think he eventually chose Vancouver, but
yeah,
I mean, so both things can be true.
How many choices were left at that point?
I think we said no to DP maybe.
We talk about this in terms of reporting. Like, if it's a good source like a Tom Bogert, like even when they get it wrong, they're probably reporting what was true at the time. And what we were told at the time was like, our source thought the deal was done. It obviously was not done to the extent that it should have been. Then that happens. But I would say even though we've gotten some like kind of wrong, like our sources have been pretty good to us. Yeah. And that's why we're good to them. So,
and we heard about the Sun thing months before.
And we managed to keep it under wraps. We're pretty good keeping things under wraps.
I constantly want to tell people secrets. It is the hardest part of this show. I am desperate to tell people what we know.
Really? But I feel like we don't have the stakes that like actual journalists have. So I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking tell anyone. Why would I tell anyone?
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh no, we're not going to. But doesn't mean you don't feel like you want to.
I don't have an interest. I don't have an interest or an urge.
Oh man, I want to tell people.
As we all know, Darren, you're the better of all of us. This.
Yeah, I'm just a better person, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, that's
the Sun thing was the first time where I was like, oh, we could fuck it up. Like if I say something about this at the wrong time,
too happy
the wrong
and
person,
just like let it slip. Yeah.
Yeah, like you like if this would be so good, we can't be the ones who fuck this up.
Yeah.
What we're saying is if you see us at the games, don't talk to us. We want to get in trouble.
Yeah. All right. That was a good one.
I have a sad foot. My sad foot was just on the field low point. I think we kind of blew it in the Club World Cup. Like the Club World Cup was amazing to be at, but then like the opportunity to actually do well kind of fell in our laps and we blew it. And it was like right at the end of what felt like such a high point in the season. Like I mentioned before, it's sort of the sad foot that goes along with my happy foot of like the fire that had just been lit went right out. And I think we all kind of knew in the back of our heads that we weren't coming back from it. And we eventually did because the team was completely different than it wasn't. I mean, Sonny came back and we were just a completely different element entirely. But until then, I mean, it was pretty much like, well, I guess, I don't know. We actually, a few games before Sonny came, we did turn it back up a little bit.
Do you remember we signed Dilrosun for the Club World Cup? There are so many players that are like, Jailson will never think about again. Dilrosun will never think about again. Cengiz Ünder. I had that as another PK in case someone picked Chanot was Bouanga missing the PK against Tunis. Of like, we could have at least gotten a point out of that game, right? At the very end, we could have stolen a chance to keep going if we could beat Flamengo by a certain number of goals. But yeah, it was so exciting to get there, and then it felt like we know we're better than this. The Chelsea game, I think the team clearly had geared themselves up for it, and we still lost 2-0, but we were not played up off the field by the inevitable winner of the thing, right? And that was, I felt very impressed with the team after that game. The rest of the Club World Cup was an abject disaster. It was a nightmare to watch.
Let's give some awards.
All right.
Okay, Vince.
Okay, well, I just want to say this. It's my great honor to hand out the Mark Anthony K. Memorial Award to the player that isn't dead, but might as well be to the fans. Past winners of this award, Edward Atuesta. Obviously, the eponymous Mark Anthony K, winner of this award. It's with great honor I give this to Tim Tillman. Tim, I know you don't want this award, and I will accept it on your behalf. I don't want it for you because I don't always agree with it, but fans really don't like you. They don't know what you do. They don't know what you do on the field. And sometimes they even attribute errors to you when you're not playing. That has actually happened to us multiple times on the post game when people have been like, well, Tillman did this. And we're like, he wasn't in the game. So
we got to get rid of Tillman, man. It's my last straw.
I'm sorry, bud. But maybe, you had 0 goals this season and you were known for a goal in a clutch moment the season before. So I think maybe people held that against you. So maybe just score a couple of goals next year and all will be forgiven. But as of this season, you are the Mark Anthony K. Memorial Award winner for 2025.
Congratulations to Tim Tillman.
Congrats.
You earned it this year.
Is B-Rod a recipient of that award?
I'll have to go back and look.
Is that more specific to like the finishing and it's more of a pistolero type award?
I feel like it's more specific to a lot of hatred for maybe not quite centered on something. I feel like B-Rod people had a lot of legit reasons why they didn't like him.
Yeah, the
like
negative vibes. Negative vibes coming your way.
A coach said this recently. There's a player for Liverpool that's having a hard time, and he's like doing his best not to throw him under the bus because it's his starting center back. And he said, well, I can say this. He does always seem to be at the scene of the crime. And I was like, oh my God, that's so good.
That's good.
Like, you're not saying he did it, but whenever something bad happens, that guy's there.
Yeah, why is he there?
And I feel like, honestly, that described how Mark was. Yeah, how Mark was that one season. Like, it was like, everyone was like, it's just always him. And I was like, it's not, but he is always around. And I think Tim kind of got
the double-edged sword. It's good to be involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations to Tim Tillman. It is my pleasure and honor to present our next award. It is the Never Home Award, which this season, the Never Home Award goes to Odin Holm, who was signed before the start of the season, showed up looking like the sad foot in our logo on crutches. He played 111 minutes in all competitions.
Wow.
He played in 0 minutes at home. He was never home. Also made $660,000 base salary.
Oh, where do we get that?
What was his salary?
$660,000. That's more than Yaya Boa.
I think that's money laundering. Is that a no-show job?
Yaya Boa, and just 40K short of World Cup winner Hugo Lloris.
So funny. We'll miss you, buddy.
Yeah. Though he did play 111 more minutes than Ricky Puig. And Ricky Puig made over $5 million. So it's all relative.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Odin Thiago Holm, a man who picked his own middle name.
His first accolade with the team.
Yeah. We had a lot of high hopes for Odin Thiago Holm. We were excited about the name and it never happened.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just kind of run through the awards. We're running out of time. I know. So we're going to...
you might get played off, but these are the awards we've all been waiting for at the end of the night.
It's my great honor to give the inaugural Bruce Arena Award for growing the game to Yaya Boa, who did the most to bring attention to the team through scandal, and a close runner-up is the woman who tried to bribe son Heung-min. But Yaya Boa, you really got a lot of press for us by potentially rigging games when you were on another team. So we just want to say thank you for growing the game here at Major League Soccer. We are a strong proponent of being in the news by any means necessary. Yaya Boa, please enjoy your Bruce Arena Award for growing the game.
Travis once said what MLS needs is messy things and messy things. And I always remember that.
The next award is, of course, the 3252 wearing camo to El Trafico award for thing I wish most never happened, which of course goes to the Antoine Griezmann rumors. It was a year and a half of our lives talking about Antoine Griezmann, and it was humiliating in the middle of the season. It lended to the vibes that nothing good would ever happen. And I just want to say to Antoine, who, isn't having the best time over in Madrid, the door's always open, but don't tell us you're coming a year in advance if you're not coming. Congratulations to Antoine Griezmann.
A lot of tough competition, a lot of good nominees in that one. That's congratulations.
Yeah. And the camo outfit to El Trafico is a tough act to follow, but I think Antoine earned it this year. Next up is the Pablo Cisniego Award for player most likely to be forgotten, which of course we've already talked about him, goes to Dil Rosen, a man who played 3 games for us. Was the part of my favorite rumor of the season, which is that Bouanga is going to be traded for Dil Rosen to Club America. It's just random Mexican outlets decided that they're getting Bouanga because they wanted him.
Also, we technically broke the news privately.
What?
Like, we broke that we were signing Dil Rosen before anyone else did. We leaked it to our own Patreon.
But then we were wrong about another one that we leaked a few days later.
That's true. Yeah,
but that fell apart. That was happening in the deal.
Oh yeah, the Argentine defender. Fell apart. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations to Dil Rosen. This is the last time you'll ever be mentioned on this show. Next up, the Latif Blessing Award for Short King of the Year. It was a close one, but of course, I think
close.
It's a close one this year, but we're giving it to Alexandru Belutsa. You were dark horse winner. End of the season, came on strong. You were small in stature, but large in our hearts. Belutsa, because of how short you willed, that's why you didn't win player most likely to be forgotten. But you did in fact win the Latif Blessing Award for Short King of the Year. We love you, Alexandru Belutsa. And finally, the most coveted award at Happyfoot Sadfoot is, of course, the Mateusz Bogusz Award for Breakout White Boy of the Year, which of course goes to Artem Shmolyakov, who had an incredible breakout year. You were hands down, Smolly, the breakout white boy of the year. We did not think you had it in you. You didn't seem like you had it. And we left the season saying, Shmolyakov, you have a spot on this team for a long time. Congratulations, Artem Shmolyakov. You are the Mateusz Bogusz Award for the breakout white boy of the year. That's our show.
Wow.
I want to
That's our
end
season
by saying thank you from the bottom of my fucking heart to all of you listening. If you got 2 hours into this thing, you're a crazy person. Thank you. We love you. This season, we started the season with under 1,000 YouTube subscribers. We are over 5,000. We are the largest active club-specific MLS podcast on YouTube right now. We had multiple meetups organized by listeners. We had someone organize group ticket purchase for the start of the season, which sold over 115 tickets already to sit just in a fan section of this show. All of our new fans from Korea who came and shared your culture and dealt with us mispronouncing everything and trying to translate comments in ChatGPT and doing our fucking best. Thank you for hanging out with us and enjoying our weird style of show that at the beginning people tried to tell us how to do it better. And we were like, no, we like that it sucks.
It's by design.
I just want to say, like, genuinely, Darren and I started this show 3 years ago because we just wanted to hang out and talk about a team we liked because we had no one to talk to about it. Very early on, we got a bunch of callers that are still sticking around, and Vince joined and added some like actual knowledge to the show, which is invaluable. And we couldn't I'm so thankful, not just to the community that we built, but to have the two of you to spend time with and to talk about this team with. And as much as we gripe about how long these episodes take to make and how annoying scheduling is and how many we have to do, it is genuinely the highlight of my week to get to do this with you guys. And so while, Vince, you might not love our fans the way that I do, I want to say that I love both of you, and it has been a delight to do this show this year.
You know my new rule. I will say it in person.
Korean fans, make the trip.
Yeah. If you are in South Korea,
thank you for saying that, Travis.
You really want to hear me say those 3 magic words, I'll do it.
You knew we were edit it.
What a weird combination of commitment and non-commitment.
Yeah, either see me in Los Angeles or fly us out to South Korea. Either way worked for me.
They have an off-season game in South Korea, which they should. First live show in South Korea.
I mean, we should be on the team plane. Let's put it that way.
Thank you for saying that. I also want to thank you guys. Not that we have to go around the table or anything, but
I'm not saying
this
shit.
Is also, that's fine. We're all staying in character here. This has been the highlight of my week as well, and a very necessary outlet for me. With not to complain about life, but I have a lot going on, as everyone does, and it's really I want to say great, but really necessary to have an outlet like this.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny Nielsen stole your wife.
Kenny Nielsen, who I thought was my best girlfriend. He presents himself as just the best candidate for best friend ever.
Can't trust people.
I'm stuck with you guys. It's the Georgetown hair. Yep. Getting to hang out with you guys and do this show and really just do a show that it is just us hanging out and having a good time, and it somehow translates to people to what we thought we could provide to the community from the beginning, which is maybe we can be some kind of bridge onboarding people to the team and making it a little bit more fun on top of whatever else you're doing to be a fan of the team. And I'll also second that, having that influx of new fans from Korea as Sonny came on board kind of validate that goal of ours, that it does seem to be working for people who are totally new, not just to the team, but to, in some cases, America, in many cases, the league. That I think just kind of inspired us to keep on trying to improve and keep getting better at providing that for people more and more, and to be able to have that kind of not just validation and ability to keep working at that, but actual cultural exchange and learning about it, just opening up the aperture of what this is really all about. halfway through the season, it really was incredible. It's so funny to say like this was a failure of the season because for all the things that matter more than actual soccer, it really was a beautiful ride.
And Vince,
So
you don't want to say anything nice.
And then Vince, you're just gonna abstain. So
Yeah.
That's our show. That's our season. And remember, the Patreon prices are going up. Our theme music.
and all of this is a commercial product. Just a reminder.
And Darren does way more work than all of us. So if you want to give him a third, we're not giving him more money. All right. Our theme music is done by, for the last time in 2025, the lead guitarist of Maroon 5, James Valentine. The song you're listening to right now was written by Maroon 5, the Nate Walcott from Bright Eyes, and Louis Palmer, a famous jazz drummer.
They all went global long before we did.
You already subscribed to our YouTube. We could fucking take this one out of there, review us on the other things. Patreon.com/HappyFootSadFord. We have new merch and new scarves coming in the offseason, and they're Patreon-specific scarves and pins. Only Patreon members get scarves, just a reminder, and the price is going up, baby, and who knows what cruel guys like us will charge. I cannot wait to keep making this show with all of you, but fuck, do we need a little bit of time off. So we'll see you in the new year. Any support, I know, whatever. I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye.
Find me at BMO.
Vince's home address is...
Vince loves you.
Love you so much, everyone. Bye. Also, small club mentality.